Hello everyone, Kelly Acheson at stampabove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin in the United States. Thanks so much for taking a little time out of your day to join me for our Totally Techniques Global Blog Hop video. Yes, this project is part of a blog hop where you can go to my blog, www.stampabove.com, and you can see a bunch of other projects made with this very same technique. So I encourage you to do that. You will find the link directly to this blog post underneath my YouTube video in the description. So please go there and check that out. You'll get to see a lot of great demonstrators, very talented people doing the same technique. I thought it was really fun. I was a little apprehensive at first because I just couldn't wrap my head around what I was going to make with this technique. But I think I mastered it and I want to share it with you. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make the crinkled paper technique, otherwise called wrinkled distress technique. I think you're going to like it. Okay, I am going to bring in my cardstock layers here first. And as I was making a couple different color variations with this card, I decided I wanted to make one that was themed in the Green Bay Packer colors, which is green and gold. So I've got a card base that is crushed curry. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I've got the Tranquil Tide layer that is 4 by 5 1/4. The Whisper White layer for the front is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I've got a piece of basic black that is 4 1/4 by 1. This piece is for the inside of our card. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I've got a scrap of white that I have already die cut with our Stitched Shapes framelits. I know I've said this a million times. I feel like I'm repeating myself all the time, but if you don't have these, this is my go-to framelits. I use these on almost every card I make that I need some type of a shape. You get 4 squares, 4 circles, and 4 ovals. And then our layering circles, layering squares, and layering ovals all match up with these and go just a tiny bit bigger than each one of these. So you can get some cute scalloped edges around the outside for layers too. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm going to bring in my piercing mat here, and I am going to stamp with the Epic Celebration stamp set. This is one of our free offerings during Celebration, which ends Saturday. That's tomorrow if you're watching this on Friday, March 31st. You can get this in clear mount or wood mount completely free with your $50 order. I have made a bunch of cards that I've shared on my blog and my Facebook Lives. So if you need some ideas with this stamp set, head over there. You'll find them. I took my tennis shoes with the Archival Black ink pad, and you want to use an archival ink because we're going to color this in with an aqua painter. And I'm just going to stamp the tennis shoes right in the middle of my square. And then I have to decide what color I want to use on my tennis shoes. Do I want them to be green? Do I want them to be gold? I think I'm going to make them green. So I'm just going to open my ink pad up a little bit, squeeze that. It gives it some flexibility when you open it, and you're going to get ink right in the lid here. With an aqua painter, I am going to color my tennis shoes in. There we go. Now to clean off this aqua painter, you would simply wipe it on a scrap of paper until it's clear and there's no more color. I forgot one other layer, you guys. This is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and it's just 1/8 of an inch bigger than our stitch shaped square. I'm gonna glue this together. And add some dimensionals to the back. And set that aside. Now we're going to do our technique. So for the technique, you're going to take the smaller of the two pieces, 3 3/4 by 5, and you're just going to crumple it up. And I'm just kind of folding it over like this. You want to be careful because when I was doing this earlier, where did my piece go? I accidentally pushed my fingernail. Yep, these pretty little fingernails went right through here. So don't do it with your fingernails. Make sure you're just crunching it with your fingers and don't stick your fingernails through the back of it. I know this part is scary, but guess what? It's just paper. It's just cardstock. And this is Whisper White. This is not any special kind of cardstock. Well, it is special because it's the best kind of cardstock to stamp on. But it's not watercolor paper or anything like that. And I am just crumpling this up. Now, I'm going to bring my pad back in here. This part is a little scary too, but I want you to remember it's only cardstock. So if it doesn't turn out, it's just cardstock. I know people get really scared at doing these techniques, and I'm like, but it's just cardstock. Okay, now you're going to open up your ink pad, and you're just going to let your ink pad hit the tops of the wrinkles. And I'm using crushed curry here because I'm making a packer card. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to come in with my Tranquil Tide. And if you were just to apply the ink again, it's going to go on the same raised spots where the crushed curry went. So what you want to do is you want to crinkle again, so you get some different raised edges and you're not just covering up the color that you just put on. Now you could do this with 1 color, 2 colors, 3 colors, however many you want. And now I'm just very lightly letting this touch the tops of the crinkles. And if you need to, you can push a crinkle up so you can get some color in there. You can manipulate it a little bit. Oh, I think this one's gonna be really fun. I haven't made this card yet, so this is a new color combination. I made other colors, but not this one. And I'll show those to you when we're done here. Then I'm going to take my Stampin' Spritzer, and I'm going to spray this with water. And I thought this was really cool because it gives it kind of a tie-dye look. And of course I felt that was perfect with the epic celebrations, right? Because it's epic, and so is tie-dyeing. Once you have this done, if you get a lot of water pooling on there, you can roll it around and it'll make colors all over the place. You're going to hit it with your heat tool, or you can just set it aside to dry. I'm going to heat it up to dry it so we can keep moving. Now you want to make sure that this layer is good and dry because our adhesives do not like to stick to damp or wet paper. That's what I've found. Once I've got this part done, I think we're ready to put our card together. I am going to fold my crushed curry layer and burnish it good with my bone folder. Then I'm going to bring in my Tranquil Tide layer. We had a big discussion at a party I did last night about glue. And you see how little glue, I would like to get just a little bit more coming out here, hang on. But do you see how little glue I use? And you make sure that your glue is touching your cardstock, so you're like scribbling with it, not dropping big globs of it. We're gonna mount that right on here. And then with this layer, I'm gonna take my bone folder and I am going to press it flat. I know some people iron this, they have little craft irons. You can certainly, whoops, you can certainly do that. But I am not going to iron it because I think that's just going a little bit further than I need to go. Okay, once you have this all flattened out, we're going to add some glue to the back of it. And you want to make sure you get your glue or tape runner or whatever you use all the way around the outside. Now this layer is going to be slightly smaller because you scrunched it up. So just know that it's a little bit smaller, and I'm just making sure that the edges are firmly pressed down here into my adhesive. Oh my gosh, Packer card, totally cool. And then next I decided I needed a greeting on the front, and I'm going to emboss that with white embossing powder. I've just got a little scrap piece of paper here. I've got my embossing buddy, and this helps to keep the embossing powder from sticking places other than where your stamped image is. This is especially important in the winter months when it is, you get a lot of static cling. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I forgot to do something. Hang tight. I'm going to clean this stamp off. I need my Stamp-A-Majig. I found it was very hard to stamp the You're Awesome on this little 1-inch piece. So I got out my Stamp-A-Majig. This is our positioning tool. And it's a great little tool. I'm excited about the new Stamparatuses that are going to be available soon. They're coming out in the new catalog June 1st. Some of you may already have that positioning tool because we had a pre-order on it. So that's cool. So I've taken my Stamp-A-Majig layering sheet, and I put my handle in the corner up here, inked up my stamp in an ink color I can see, not Versamark, and I put it right up here in the corner and stamped it on my imaging sheet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this piece in, and because it's so small, I can't really hold on to it, so I'm just going to add a little bit of snail adhesive to the back. Now I'm going to bring my words in here and center them where I want them to be. Bring my tool back in on that corner. Pull this out of the way. Ink up in Versamark ink for my embossing. Stamp that, and it's going to be perfect every time. I love the Stamp-A-Majig. And that's why I'm so excited about the Stamparatus, because that thing is going to be awesome too. All right. Pour your, I've got white embossing powder here, and I always like to just blow maybe any little flecks that might be left. Pour this back in the cup. I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to use this paper again, and then we're going to heat set this. I love to watch the magic happen. And as soon as it turns glossy and there's no more dull look to it, you know that it's finished. Okay. We've got just, whoops, let's bring this back. We've got just a tiny bit more stamping. I wanted to make this a birthday card for the men in my life. I could do it for the women in my life too, but this is a good man card. I'm using the stylized birthday on the inside layer right here. And then I wanted to decorate that up just a little bit more. So I decided to bring in the little polka dots. And I'm going to mask them. I just want a line of polka dots across the bottom of my inside layer. So we're just going to stamp some polka dots in the Tranquil Tide. And then I'm going to clean my stamp off. And now the crushed curry. Make sure you're holding that mask in place so you can get your polka dots just along that bottom line. I just think this is a neat little decoration for the inside of the card. I did it with the other ones that I made too that I'll be showing you. And now we're ready to finalize. What do you guys think? I think that's a cool inside for a card, don't you? Okay. My Packer men are going to love this. Super fun. Take off these dimensional backs. Here comes our tennis shoes. And then I just took my glue and glued this black layer on here. And this really, the black really makes this pop, I think. And this spreads across the whole front. Oops. Okay, you guys, are you ready to see the other ones that I made? Let me get my mess cleaned up here. Here's our Packer card. Super cute, right? Here comes another one where I use Pacific Point and crumb cake ink for my crinkled ink background. And this one I left blank on the inside because I'm not sure whether I want to use it for just a general all occasion card to write a note in, a thank you card. I could use this as another masculine birthday card. And then look at this one. This is Berry Burst with black ink. And when you're using the black ink on the crinkle method, because we're spraying it with water to get it to get that water to kind of run a little bit, you don't want to use an archival black ink. You can use Memento, because when that gets hit with water, it bleeds. That was the word I was looking for. It bleeds a little bit. So Berry Burst and Memento black ink here. And then I use Berry Burst to color this. Oh, I see, I forgot to do one thing. I need to show this to you guys. Oh, that's because I put my ink color away. If I would have left it out, I would have known. Add a little bit of shading to your tennis shoes and you will look like an artist. Let's zoom in. I've got Smoky Slate ink here, and I'm just going to come around the bottom of my tennis shoes and the little shoestrings, get some up in here, and just add a tiny bit of shading to that. You can see I've done it here on the pink one. And now I've got it here on the Packer card. Oh, and for those of you that don't know, what the heck is a Packer? The Green Bay Packers are our football team here in Wisconsin. They're located about 40 miles north of us. And I was just thinking about Jordy Nelson before I made this card because the Packers just traded him to the Raiders. He was our favorite wide receiver. And for some reason, he popped in my head. And I thought, hey, I could make this with Packer colors. Green Bay Packer football team. That's what that's all about. And then I did some shading right in here, too. So remember, the last chance to get this stamp set is Saturday, March 31st. It's free with your $50 order. I hope you'll give this technique a try. It's really a lot of fun. You can do a whole bunch of color combinations. Don't forget to watch me live on Facebook Sunday nights. You can find my Facebook stamping page at A Stamp Above Your Creative Coach. I don't think I'm going to be on this Sunday because we have Easter to celebrate. So I think I'm going to take this Sunday off. But every other Sunday, 6 p.m. on my Facebook page, click down here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to place an order, you can click right up top here. This will take you right to my blog, astampabove.com, where you will find an online ordering button over on the right side. All of these products are also going to be listed in the description of the video on YouTube, and also there'll be clickable links right in my blog post about these cards where you can just click on them. It'll take you right to my store. I always appreciate your orders from the very bottom of my heart. Thanks again for taking a little bit of time out of your day to watch this video. And for those of you celebrating Easter on Sunday, I wish you a wonderful time with your friends and family. Bye-bye.